If you are looking to make some super fast, easy, and solo money in GTA Online for this week, of course, without relying on random players or even wasting hours on doing different types of business activities here in this game, well, you're in the right place because Rockstar dropped some awesome money bonuses for this week and this weekly update here that are going to be perfect specifically for solo players or even just casual grinders. And so whether you're running your vehicle cargo warehouse already and you're just looking to stack some extra money, or if you have no idea what this business is all about at all and you want to get into it and become a master of it, well, no matter what type of player you are for this next week here before the new DLC, we're going to talk about everything in this solo money making guide. I'll walk you through the best ways to take advantage of this week's money making opportunities in GTA and more. So let's just go over some of the bonuses real fast, and then we'll get into detail on how to run the vehicle cargo warehouse, since that's actually what I want to focus on for this video. The main method I would say for making money besides vehicle cargo sell missions this week for players are, if you have friends, at least one, you could do the Diamond Casino Heist finale, because you're getting guaranteed diamonds while playing through the Diamond Casino Heist. That's going to be your loot. You get that every single playthrough this week, so you're going to be making millions of dollars running the Diamond Casino Heist. Or you can take advantage of double money and double RP on the casino story missions and the work missions. Or you could take advantage of triple money and RP on the featured series or community series jobs. Or you could be like me and finally get around to doing the last dose missions on your second character, because I just bothered getting the acid lab on this character and that's it. I still haven't gotten the acid lab virtue. I feel like I've had no need to because I've just been sitting in invite only sessions anyway. But either way, the one we're going to be focusing on here is double money and double RP on vehicle cargo sell missions. Of course, you need to own a vehicle cargo warehouse yourself, which first, in order to do that, you need to purchase an executive office. And in order to get an executive office, you need to purchase one here off the Dynasty 8 Executive Realty website. These were discounted last week by 30%, I believe, right? With the renovations, the upgrades and stuff. So special cargo warehouses as well for GTA Plus members are discounted at 50% this month, and also special cargo warehouses for all players last week for discounted. But the prerequisite for owning a vehicle cargo warehouse is owning a CEO office for yourself first. So that's the prerequisite. Then once you do that, you can log into your CEO office computer and search the vehicle cargo warehouses section, and you could choose which one you want. I recommend you go with the location that I have right now. In fact, let me just make it easier on you, and I'll log into my computer at my Maze Bank Tower and my SecuroSurf computer here at my executive office so you can see what I'm saying. So the vehicle warehouse that I like most is over here in La Mesa, I believe. If I go to vehicle cargo, you can see my vehicle cargo map. And if I go to warehouse map, you could see my location. It is the La Mesa one. I like this one specifically. There's the other options you could choose, like right here. I've owned the Murrieta Heights vehicle warehouse as well. I thought this would be more advantageous because it's right off the highway, but it's not really right off the highway. It's sort of right next to the highway, and there's not, I mean, you have to drive all the way here to get back on. This one, there's a highway exit right here. So whether you're bringing the car from over here, up north over here, or if you get an unfortunate Paleto Bay source, I mean, you could just use your Iron Mule or Cargo Bob to bring these vehicles back to your warehouse and bring them back. But if you're driving them like I prefer to do, well, you're gonna usually take this main artery of the highway from the west coast, or head down the hill and get on the highway down here anyway, or come from this way, or come from here. And you get right off the highway, you get it right off the road, you take this back alley, and boom, the parking lot's right there. So that's the vehicle cargo warehouse I recommend you own. This one's not terrible, but also if you use a Cargo Bob or your Iron Mule, the landing area to put the vehicle in the garage door, like there's this thing in the way, there's some overhang of like just some sort of car cover over here on the left off of the screen of the thumbnail here. I wouldn't really recommend you get this location at Elysian Island or any of these, to be honest. I mean, El Burro Heights may not be terrible. It sounds like it's out in the open, but of course you got to take the dirt trails there. That's not worth, in my opinion. I feel like if you're going to go for one, go for La Mesa. Some players actually love, what is it? It could actually be the La Puerta one. Some players love the La Puerta location too. I haven't tried that one myself, but vehicle cargo warehouses are on discount this week. They're 30% off. So if you don't own one, and you can get it, or if you don't have the location that you'd prefer, well, you can also get a new one. Just remember, I'm pretty sure if you change locations, all of your vehicles will get removed, just like you lose cargo with another business that you decide to move the location of. So make sure you got your bases covered with that first. So what I'm about to demonstrate to you, this is for a player who's coming in, they have a fresh vehicle warehouse, they gotta start stocking vehicles up, because this is not a type of business where you source one vehicle and you sell right away and start making money. The vehicle warehouse, in order to properly run it in the meta way, is actually to stock up a bunch of vehicles first. That way you can only sell top range and you will only source from top range. And how it works is the following. Allow me to just step into my terabyte here, actually. You know what I should have done? I needed to park this the other way. I like parking my terabyte like this for a few reasons. So say if you're starting off with 0 vehicles, and I'll tell you exactly what you got to do. So you need to source or end up sourcing 10 mid-range and 10 standard range vehicles, and also source 12 top range if you prefer, because this way what this is going to allow you to do is be able to source the same exact vehicle back over and over and over. You're not going to get a standard range or mid-range ever again once you're running this business in the optimal way, because you already have 10 mid-range covered with no duplicate license plates or duplicate vehicles. Same thing with mid-range. And supposedly you can even, once you do that, you can just source any random top range, but I like to have up to 12 top range that I have in my warehouse at one time, and that way I'm selling the 12th vehicle, because that way, let's say I choose the Progen Tyrus to sell. Well, when I go to source it back right after that, I will get that same exact vehicle back. I'll get that exact same Progen Tyrus, and that way I can stay on top of it and get in sync and not get confused on if I need to source another vehicle or sell and I get, you know, off sync. You just want to have your vehicle warehouse filled essentially to 80% capacity. You can hold up to 40 vehicles at once in your actual warehouse, but I don't recommend you hold that many. This is how your computer should look. So when you look at the standard range section, you should have 2 rows of 4 and then a third row of 2 vehicles for 10 total standard range. Same thing for the mid range, 2 rows of 4, the third row should only have 2, and your top range vehicle selection should look like this. 3 rows of 4. You should have 12 top range vehicles in total. That way, no matter which one of these you decide to sell, when you go back and source another vehicle, the game is just going to give you the exact same top range vehicle you sold. And that is the optimal way to run this business, because you're only really making money from selling top range vehicles. You could sell mid range and standard range if you want, but you're not going to be making that much money. I just sold the sale mission, or sold one of the vehicles for this video, so I don't have the opportunity to show you just yet, but we'll get into it. This is what your vehicle warehouse should look like, right? But now let's say you just sourced a vehicle. You went out, you're trying to fill up your warehouse. You have a cooldown of 20 minutes when you sell a vehicle, but you could do source missions back to back to back to back indefinitely. So you have to source 32 vehicles in total to get your warehouse up to spec and running in the optimal way. That will take you a couple hours of overhead investment, but let's just say you brought back a vehicle. Now it's time to source another. Rather than going and changing invite-only sessions all the way to, say, your Maze Bank Tower, for example, or any of your CEO offices, like you used to do, you have to travel all the way back there. Now you could just go to your terabyte and then go to the vehicle cargo section and source from there, so you can get to sourcing right away. So that's why I like to have the terabyte parked right here. Then I just access vehicle cargo and I can just source another vehicle through here. What you'll see me talk about later in the video when I talk about fast traveling back to my Maze Bank Tower, I only do that now that the business, for me specifically, is running optimally. Let's say you have the 10 mid-range, 10 standard range, and 12 top range. You sell your vehicle, now you got to source that 12th one back. So that's why once I do the sell mission, I could be anywhere across the map, right? The sell mission could take me all the way over here, it could take me out here, it could take me out west or northwest, excuse me, whatever. Wherever the sell mission takes you, right? Now I'm really far away from where my terabyte is going to be. Even if I summon it through the service vehicles menu, I still need to travel to it. That's why I simply just like the method of going to options, then going to my Maze Bank Tower and finding a new session. I load right back in and I can get the source done right away. But when you're filling up the vehicle warehouse from absolutely nothing, when you're just getting started with the business, keep the terabyte parked out here. That way you could just drive your car into the warehouse. Once you deliver it here for the source mission, run right back outside, get in your terabyte, start the next source mission. Alright, so you have successfully filled up your vehicle cargo warehouse with 10 mid-range vehicles and 10 standard range vehicles, and whether you're only going to source random top range vehicles and sell them, or if you're like me and you prefer to max out on top range vehicles too at the number of 12, that way whichever top range vehicle you decide to sell, when you go and source that 12th top range vehicle back, it's going to be the exact same one you sell. That way you get an option of just choosing. If you just have the personal preference of wanting to choose your vehicle, that's how I run it. I feel like it's it's also a safer bet because it kind of keeps you on track and keeps you in sync. You know exactly whether you need to source that 12th one back or whether you should sell that 12th one to make some money just so you could source another back later. But either way, let's say depending on which way you want to run your vehicle cargo business, you're ready to do a sale mission. Let's chat about some tips and tricks and how to do it. All right, now it comes sale time. And so, of course, when you're going to sell a vehicle, remember whether you're doing the 10, 10, and just full top range method, or you're doing something like me, 10, 10, 12, where you have 12 top range vehicles, always make sure that you're dealing with a top range vehicle when you're selling. You don't want to run this business at all by selling a single mid-range or a single standard range vehicle. You're just worrying about top range. So we are going to be selling this Progen Tyrus right here. We're going to be exporting it. Let's export it to that specialist dealer. We're going to pay that $40,000 to modify this vehicle and then sell it, but we'll be paid a commission of $200,000 upon delivery. So our total profit for this sale will be $160,000 because you need to subtract the $40,000 from your total of $200,000. And like I said, this isn't an invite-only session. I want to show you this sell mission first before we move into a public lobby sell mission, just so you can see the difference of if, you know, of course you can make obviously extra money, and I would probably recommend you just deal with public lobby sell missions, especially when it comes to a business like this where there's only one sale vehicle. They're super fast, super simple, all that. You don't really have to worry about anything, right? But of course, if you're like me where you just like sticking in public sessions anyway, or excuse me, sticking in invite only sessions just because you're on PC and you don't want to deal with public lobbies at all, I totally understand. I sell most of the time in invite only sessions anyway. I don't like when people say that you're losing money by selling in an invite only session. That's not the right way or accurate way to describe it. You're not losing any money selling in an invite only. You're just gaining the high demand bonus by selling in a public session. You only have things to gain. So when you're selling in an invite only, the only difference between this and a public lobby sell mission is, of course, you have these enemies that are actually going to be pursuing you, shooting you. They're going to target your vehicle, so you could just stand right outside and actually shoot and kill them. I'm actually about to die, but either way, just have your explosive ammo ready. For some reason, mine, I literally just was ready to do these missions, and you could see I have none of this ammo. What happened to all my ammo? It's all gone. Either way, you're going to get waves of enemies that you're going to need to fight, right? And so it's good for you to have just some ammo on hand for you to take out all these guys. This guy's probably going to kill me right here. You fight. It should be 4 waves of enemies, but sometimes I fight 3, sometimes I fight 2, sometimes I just fight 1. Either way, this only happens in invite-only lobbies when you're the only player doing one of these sale missions. Otherwise, if you're in a public lobby, you don't have these enemies pursuing you at all. So if you're selling in an invite-only session, I recommend you get out of the car so that you don't lose value on the car, because these enemies are targeting you, they're not targeting the vehicle. Obviously, if you're continuing to drive the vehicle, well, they're going to be damaging it because you're inside the vehicle that they're targeting, and so they're not just going to hit you as a person, they're going to hit the vehicle, thus damaging it. You're losing money on the sale. But just, again, heed my advice. If you're selling in an invite-only lobby, just, you know, as soon as you see those red dots pop up on the minimap, you can get out of the car, stand away from it, take out all the enemies. We've cleared them all out. We have a 4-mile sell mission to go. Let's just check out the location on the minimap, all the way up here, not too far away, and I will see you guys when we get there. As we're getting close to the destination, though, I feel like I should mention a few more things just in the context of you selling one of these cargo vehicles in an invite-only lobby. After you clear out the waves of enemies, just be careful on the drive. I think that goes without saying. You can feel free to use a cargo bob if you want, just like you could use one for a source. You could use the Iron Mule. That's going to be faster and probably more optimal. But honestly, I just find it fun to drive the cars. I like to do it. I trust my own driving ability more than I do flying and being able to land the heli successfully, get in the vehicle, move it there, stuff like that. It's just, I don't want, you know, in case it drops off the hook or something like that, you know, not that I'm going to intentionally disconnect it or something. I just don't want any hiccups. I'll just drive it. It only takes a few minutes, but there you go. My total recording, even while chatting, took me 6 minutes. The sale mission, that one is a pretty long distance delivery. That one should have only taken you 4 minutes anyway, tops, but there you go. So now we have that 20-minute cooldown on the sale mission. But of course, we just sold the vehicle, right? So we need to now source this vehicle back, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. All right, so we just sold that Progen Tyrus, right? Now it's time for me to source it back. And typically what I do immediately when I finish that sale mission, when I'm just playing GTA Online, say I just sold that Progen Tyrus in my own spare time and I'm not recording for content and staging the video and stuff like that. As soon as I sell that vehicle and I make the money from the sale, I just go to online, I make sure I have my spawn location set to my Maze Bank Tower, and I just change invite-only sessions, and you will see just how fast it is to load in here, and just boom. I'm right here. It may put me in the shower and I need to get out of the bathroom or something like that, but sometimes I'll just spawn on the bed. Either way, this is a lot faster of getting to your computer than calling out your terabyte and traveling to your terabyte, getting inside the terabyte, and then going on the same computer screen that you would access here, right? I guess if you already have your terabyte called and you're right outside, like when you're trying to stock up the warehouse, it's good to keep your terabyte right outside the warehouse, because then you walk out into your terabyte and you just source the next vehicle. But when you're selling, it's a different story. So because you sell, then you're going to be someplace else on the map, and then you need to go and source, and you need to access either your terabyte computer for that, or you could just spawn back in your Maze Bank Tower or whatever office tower you have, right? And for the sake of this one as well, I could leave, you know, talk to my assistant, and I could leave in my personal vehicle. We could do the terabyte and do the Oppressor Mark II. I could use a heli. Sometimes I like flying helis. That's pretty fun. But I guess just to keep it simple for the grinders out there, let's just use the Oppressor Mark II. The sad thing is the cutscene does take a little bit longer, because I need to go all the way to the elevator, then I go down, then I have to run to my oppressor, and then we take off and start flying, versus if I were to just take a free heli, or not free, it's $200, I know, $200. Tons of money in this game, right? But you take one of your personal helicopters from your office, and you spawn right in the sky, so you're already ready to go. But either way, no matter your mode of transportation, do whatever you want. I don't care one single bit. I use either one, just, you know, I feel it out depending on what I want to do. I switch things up to have fun. We're going to LSIA to steal this Progen Tyrus. And when it comes to sourcing as well, I mean, sourcing you could just do in an invite-only session. I wouldn't really recommend a public session source, because it's not like you get anything extra out of it. Selling in a public lobby, especially with up to 20 plus players, you get the full 50% or 1.5x bonus on the sale because of the high demand bonus. But for sourcing, it doesn't really matter. So sourcing, I just do in an invite-only session. These guys are driving around the track. And like I said, we're stealing the Progen Tyrus, so I'm going to get out and get ready to shoot this guy. I actually don't know which one we're stealing. We're stealing the black one with the orange wheels, so we'll line it up here. And I just... Did I kill the guy? Is he dead? I missed. I actually just missed? That's crazy. That's a huge problem, because now he's going to be driving away. And I'm gonna be damaging this thing. Note to self, don't be an idiot like me and just miss the shot you take on this vehicle when you're supposed to get this guy out of the car. He's also just bashing into that Progen Tyrus, so now I'm sure this thing's gonna have a ton of damage on it. All these cars are glitched out because the baggage, like, carts are in the way, and these guys are programmed to drive along this road here in this path, so that's funny. You can see we have $2,500 worth of damage, but no matter, all we need to do is leave the airport, drive back to the garage. Once you do, call it, each sell mission you do is going to be a couple minutes, and each source mission's also going to be a couple minutes. So all in all, you're looking at maybe 5, 7, 8 minutes in total for a source and sell, both of those combined into one. And so you're looking at maybe 25 minutes in total doing a source and sell every 20 minutes. That's 3 of those in an hour, where you can make the $160,000 per sell times 3. And mind you, again, you can get even more than that if you sell in a public lobby. But I just run things in invite-only sessions because I'm on PC. I don't want to deal with modders and cheaters crashing my game and stuff like that. But I think for most players, they're going to be selling in public lobbies. If I'm going to do any sort of business sale in public lobbies, it would be vehicle cargo with this import-export business and vehicle cargo warehouse. It would be the nightclub, because it's only one delivery vehicle, and it would be the acid lab, because once again, it's a super nimble, agile bike, the Manchester Scout that I could use one delivery vehicle. The sell missions are fast and easy. Everything else, like if I'm using multiple vehicles for special cargo or my MC businesses, and I'm ever doing sells with that if I ever decide to, and you have multiple sale vehicles, while of course it is advantageous to sell in a public lobby for the money, you're just leaving all your cargo behind and it can get blown up. So that's why I don't really bother with those. But nightclub, acid lab, as well as import-export vehicle cargo, you could do those in public lobbies, and you're not taking on too much risk, I don't think. But I still stick to invite only, just because that's my personal preference as a player. So we sold the Progen Tyrus, we just sourced it back. So that's the process of going through a source and sell mission if you're doing something in an invite-only lobby. I would like to show you the start-to-finish process of doing source missions as well as sale missions in public lobbies so you can get that 1.5 times bonus, which on a $200,000 sale, that's $300,000 per vehicle you sell, which will equate to essentially $260,000 worth of profit, which is definitely super good right there. That's a lot better than the 160, right? But of course, you take on more risk being a public lobby because players can blow you up. It's not very likely that your vehicle cargo is going to get griefed, like I said, with the nightclub or even the acid lab. It's very unlikely for that cargo to get griefed because it's only one vehicle, and I'm sure you could take care of yourself in a public session. But what I'm going to do is save that for another video because this one's getting pretty long. I don't want to waste your time too much. We could do a whole separate video focused on how much money we can make with the vehicle cargo business in a single hour, selling basically in public lobbies, which for 300k per vehicle, 20-minute cooldown on the sell mission, we could get 3 of those done in an hour because we can get our source mission done on cooldown while we're waiting the 20 minutes, so we're just ready to sell once again. So in an hour, we should be able to make $900,000 in total, and that's of course with 20 plus players and the max high demand bonus of 1.5 times or 50% every single sale mission, and that will equate to $780,000 worth of profit because remember, we only are losing $40,000 on every sale based off the commission that we're spending, basically modifying the vehicle. So that's definitely super worth it this week. You're looking at about $480,000 selling these vehicles 3 times an hour in invite-only sessions, or $780,000 an hour selling in public sessions, granting you're getting that max high demand bonus every single time. But you can make your decision as your own type of player on what you want to do. Like I said, I prefer sticking to invite-only sessions all the time just because it keeps things easy. I just don't want to deal with players. I think this game is objectively worse when you play with other people because of all the lag with the servers, especially on PC public lobbies. You lose tons of FPS. There's tons of modders and cheaters. It's a different story on console, but I'm not a console player. I'm on PC, so this is the way I run things. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios, amigos.